Captain's Log, Episode 20. This week's episode of the Beer Vengers podcast is sponsored by Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, located at 3511 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Valentine's Day may be over, but it's not too late to indulge yourself in Night Shift's Beer Mine Pastry Stout with chocolate and raspberries. And while you're at it, why not pair it with St. Agur Blue Cheese, both currently and plentifully available at AB&C. Enjoy the eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, home bar to yours truly, Captain Porter Brown Stout. Today our delightful guest is another beer venture to be, Jonathan Meyer. Yeah, I mean, he was a beer venture to be. When we recorded this, he's now a beer venger. That's kind of how this whole thing works. You get it, right? Thanks to Huck, we've got a pretty great beer venger name for him, but if you have any other ideas, please don't hesitate to send them in. Remember to like, star, and subscribe us whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 20, introducing the Globehopper.
Over the Beer Vengers, Beer Vengers, Beer Vengers. We're the Beer Vengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brown Stout.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in Manhattan Town, I am the Pale Male, Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder!
And we are
the Beer Vengers.
Oh, that was special. That's right. We are the Beer Vengers, everyone. Wonderful to have you here. We got a great show coming up. Lots of great new pours. But before we get to any of that, I want to introduce yet another, for the second week in a row, we've got a Beer Venger to be. Welcome from City Brew Tours. It's Jonathan Meyer.
Hello.
Hello,
Hey, Jonathan.
hello.
Hey.
Welcome.
It's great. It's great to have you here. We're looking forward to the beers beer and or beers that you brought with you, as well as hearing your beginning fable.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I have a cooler full of beer, so we're gonna have fun.
Excellent. It was strange today for me to start out talking about coming from an undisclosed location because I've been hearing that on the news all day. They've been doing the impeachment hearings, and they keep talking about how they whisked off Mike Pence to an undisclosed location when all the shit was going down.
Very trendy.
In case anyone's listening, it wasn't any of our places, just for the
No, it was not. In fact, it was much more undisclosed than I am because we drink and it's barely undisclosed when I talk about how I can walk to Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars from my apartment. There's your first clue. Okay, well, we're going to get to all of that. We're going to learn all about Jonathan, and we might even have another trip to my cellar. But before we get any of all that started, gentlemen, let's get to the pours.
Indeed.
Oh, the best part.
Well, I'll start if you want.
Hey, what do you think, Beer Wonder?
Well, it's just, I mean, I know, Huck, I'm so excited to see what you've got, but I just want to make sure
I am too.
we're remaining polite because we do have a guest and a beer venger to be. We want to make sure we make a good impression.
Absolutely. We don't want to make him feel like he's, we're just sweeping him under the carpet or something.
Well,
I should take notes as we go along so we can get this name going.
Oh, all right. Oh, sure. Yes, we hope to have a name for Jonathan by the end of the episode. Yeah, Jonathan. What have you brought with you today?
So I actually have a transmitter saison. It's their S1. It's got a bunch of stuff going on. Mahogany, some jade, fermented, dry but fruity. I don't know. There's a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, they got some good stuff over there.
And transmitter, local to that undisclosed County of Kings. I know they just moved into the Navy Yards, I think, right?
Yeah.
Were they in Queens originally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I'm not crazy in thinking they're Queens, but
they are in Queens. Your sanity,
Yeah.
This won't determine it.
Right. Exactly.
All right, yeah. Show us what you show us. Let's. Very nice.
Now it's a nice dark one too. It's got that good dark saison feel, and it's pouring pretty thin. It feels like to me. Is that what you're seeing there, John?
Yeah, no, it is fairly thin. It's coming out nicely.
It's got a very rich color.
A good pour.
Yeah,
yeah, beautiful pour.
So.
Great head on that.
Oh
beer.
yeah.
It might be like, I don't know, you're professional at pouring beers.
I only pour, like 4 a day or something,
That's and then there's your job.
Yeah. All right. Well,
you got to warm up.
Well, Huck, you've been so patient. Do you want to go next?
Oh.
Huck. Huck, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
All right. We were thinking maybe it'd be time to see what you have, what you brought with you today.
Okay, fine. I wasn't ignoring you. I did get digitally blipped out there. I turned into a cat.
Oh,
so it was weird.
I hear only the coolest people are doing that right now.
That's
and
true,
also
yeah.
being slightly questionable and maybe a little racist.
So I got this beauty. Its time has come. It is called Even More Hydra.
Oh, very pretty.
It is an Imperial Sour from Evil Twin NYC and Mortalis Brewing. Mortalis has the Hydra. Evil Twin is known for their Even More. And it is a Imperial Sour made with blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, cocoa nibs, and our old friend marshmallow. I'm a little afraid of marshmallows, but we'll try it. Last time I had a marshmallow seltzer, I had a bad reaction. But let's take a look at this beauty. Here we go. Oh boy.
Oh, that is purpley almost. Yeah, it's got that
dark
really
purple. Look at that
blueberry
head.
color. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so thick. It looks like it's almost hard to see through it.
It looks like a jam. It really does.
Oh yeah, it is.
Right?
It is not translucent. I'm getting that. I'm getting all of it on the nose, all of it. Cocoa.
And it looks like the I can see the interesting color in the head there as well.
Yeah, it's very pink. Maybe the raspberries are coming, but the blueberries give a red too. So it's strange. I'm getting the cacao nibs on the nose.
Well, I'm associated even more with more of the stouty kind of stuff. So that's,
you know what it smells like? It smells like blueberry, like breakfast cereal, like Fruit Brute. What's the other one? Frankenberry.
Yep.
Yes,
that's what it is. It's Frankenberry because it has the marshmallows,
not blueberry.
Has the
right,
fruit.
Right.
That feels par for the course, honestly, for Evil Twin.
I can't believe it's a beer. I'll try it. Wow. It's good.
Excellent.
It's very good. Oh, it's very sweet. A lot of sugary flavors there. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to work through this a little bit. You guys go ahead.
Very good. Yeah. What do you have with you today, Beer Wonder?
Also keeping it New York City, I'm going for a new brewery to me, and I'm excited that we've got a guest here who knows the New York City beer scene along with the rest of us. This is from Ebbs Brewing, which is a fairly new group, opened up in 2020, so they're pandemic babies. They were supposed to open, I believe, right before the pandemic hit. They were supposed to have I think a tap room in Williamsburg. Is that right?
Yes. They were supposed to open their tap room in March. Luckily, they just I know all this random stuff. So luckily, they actually just got their tap room on the up and coming. So we're hoping that they will be, and I say we, I don't know who we are, but we as a group,
the Beer Vengers, naturally,
are hoping that they will actually be opening their tap room within the next 3 months, I believe.
Oh, great.
But yeah, they are making headway. They just put up their signage, so that's the first step. So they're getting there.
Awesome. Well, this is their number 7 IPA, and they do number all of their beers. So this one definitely falls into that, they describe it as modern, tropical, and pillowy, and it was canned in Flushing.
Okay.
So
I missed 1 through 6, so I wouldn't be able to have the 7.
I know. Well, I think number 1 is actually a sour, so but you do have to work your way up to it, I think. So let's see how this looks.
Yeah, let's take a look at this beauty. Okay. Right off the bat, we're seeing that New England style look to it.
Yeah, but really light.
Very light, fairly trans. I mean, a little cloudy, but I can really see through it. Not a ton of head.
Good pour though.
But yeah, when they say pillowy and marshmallowy right off the nose, I get every ounce of that. So I'm prepared for a very nice New England adventure here.
Yeah, it looks like it has almost more of a grapefruit color than an orange.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
All right, let's see what the captain's rocking.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to keep it local since this seems to be the trend. By the way, none of us checked with each other. This is just happening ordinarily. But a few weeks back, we talked about how I met with the Beer Wonder to give him a little of our, so we could trade off some of our sponsorship packages. And we met at Rockaway Brewing, and I've talked about them before, but I realized we've never had one of their beers on the show. So fortunately, I picked up a 4-pack that
Haven't
day.
we, though?
Have we?
Maybe,
I don't know. I'm going with the spreadsheet.
I don't think so. They're a favorite of mine, and I know both Jonathan and I have actually spent some time bringing people through there.
And so what I brought is the Rockaway Brewing Company Brownie's Bite Imperial Stout.
Ooh.
It's basically it's a brownie, an Imperial Stout with the sort of a brownie taste to it. It is it's a decent ABV. I don't know, like 10 or something.
Just casual.
It's here we go. All right. Now let's see what we have here.
Oh my gosh. It pours so thick. I can tell that it would be 10%. Almost, and also like you're barely getting any head on that. I don't know. Has anyone seen
it's there.
Yeah, now it's there. Okay.
Nice
but
golden head.
Right, yeah.
And I can see, I mean, it's so dark. I can see the bubbles actually coming up in the liquid very distinctly. Yeah. This one's going to be a fun one.
I think maybe you showed me this beer before, and
it's entirely possible.
I think everything happens on the podcast. You know, I know things happen outside of the podcast.
Yeah. You're only really getting an hour of our week when you're here. So
That's right.
It's all right. Cheers, gentlemen.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh and golly.
Very good.
All right. Yeah, Rockaway is a nice spot.
They really are.
Now, with this beauty, I'm getting like pop rocks on the tongue. Okay, I would say like sour candy, but it's so much sweetness going on that the sweetness, you can tell it's a sour when you sip it, but it's just candy, and just really, really fruity and sweet. It's very much like a fruit juice. It's really good. I know that you guys have. You still have your cans of this?
Yes, I'm looking forward to having it.
Each of you. Very excited about it.
And now that you've had it on the show, I feel I don't have to wait anymore. I'll probably have that one tonight.
You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. For an update, it is a 10.5 on this one.
Oh, thank you. It's 7%.
Very good.
The sour. Yeah.
Well, then
did you mention?
I'm the wimp here at 5.5. Jonathan, what are you coming in at?
Just a second. I have to find it on here. Oh, I'm 6'6", so I'm in the middle of everyone.
Okay. Very respectable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have. I had a light dinner, so this is a good. I'm going to have this. This is basically dessert.
You're going to get your vitamins in there, Huck.
Oh yeah, and I'm getting my vitamin C. Good call. Ooh.
Now, what's really nice about this one is, I mean, it definitely tastes like a brownie, but it's not remotely cloyingly sweet. If anything, it's more bittersweet chocolate forward.
Oh,
which I'm really appreciating. But like really nice and robust. And
I want to just pour the last of this into the glass. You can see that.
Yeah.
I don't know if any chunks are going to come out, but you can see how thick it is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, you can actually see that it's just kind of glooping itself out.
It's glooping out, but it's not chunky. It's nice. It's a great beer. Just really, really sweet. And then you say cloying, it's not, but my lips are sticking together, you know?
Yeah.
After you sip it, it's definitely sweet. I could talk about it all night. But
Jonathan,
have you ever about these other beers?
Jonathan, have you ever heard the story of the Even More series?
No, I don't think I have.
So Jeppe, one of these days we're going to have him on the show so we can find out how we pronounce that, who runs Evil Twin. When he was first, whether it was his first or whether he'd been working already, and what he was doing was he'd be going around to different places and sampling beers and trying them. And he was texting his partner and his business partner. He, of course, English is not his first language, and so he's like sometimes has strange ways of saying various expressions. And he's looking at this particular beer he's trying there, this Imperial Stout or something. He says, "Oh Jesus, this is a really high price for this pour." And then the next pour, I guess, was more dramatic to him. So he texted back, "Even more Jesus." And he says, "I have no idea what you're saying, but that has to be your next beer." And so since then, it started with Even More Jesus, and they've just anytime, and they're all great. More often than not, they're imperial stouts of some sort. So that's, I think, part of why in becoming a sour, it still retains some of those stout qualities, like the marshmallow and the cocoa.
Yeah, when they say Even More, it's just like that's exactly it. They're just extra on everything.
Well,
put
a
everything
really
in
weird coincidence. Last night, I had the Even More Jesus chocolate stout.
Okay.
Perfect.
It was actually a birthday beer, so I was having that, and I didn't look at the ABV until afterwards, about halfway through, and it was a couple. It was a 12. It was a 12.
Oh,
Straight
yeah.
12.
Even
That
More.
sounds about right.
But it was delicious. No, they're Sweet Baby Jesus, Even More Jesus. They're just delicious.
I was actually one night I can't remember what year it was, on Christmas Eve. I was at Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars at 3511 Ditmars, our sponsor. But it was Christmas Eve, and they had Even More Jesus on tap. And I kicked the keg on Christmas Eve of Even More Jesus. So I thought it was yeah.
on
Jonathan,
the day he's supposed to come into the world, you sent it out of the world. Yeah, okay.
that works.
Gotcha.
Jonathan, how is that saison? Because I love what Transmitter does.
Yes.
Cool
So
stuff.
it's super light, as you saw with the pour. It's really easy drinking. It actually feels like a lager and tastes like a lager. Closer to like a dunkel almost. So it doesn't have a lot of spice to it that traditional saisons, but they are using a mahogany malt, so that's probably why. So it does have that slight sweetness in there. That's kind of balancing it out, but it is just really easy. I'm probably going to drink it way too fast, but it's just very easy drinking, very subtle notes to it.
I think that's one of their flagships too, right? I've always seen that. Yeah.
It is one of their flagships. No, it's delicious, but it's just very easy drinking saison. Probably the best saison for people to like get into saisons, because I've had crazy saisons, anything from sorrel, basil to jalapeno, cucumber, peach, anything, and this one is probably the best one that I would say for. And I'm not saying that anyone that's listening wants to get into saisons, Transmitter S1 is going to be the one to go. It's going to be a good one to start with.
Yeah, I feel like saisons can be a tricky thing to get people into. They
Mhm.
do have a unique flavor, and they've got a really wide variety of what they can taste like.
Yeah.
So people might have one that's a little bit funky and be like, "Oh, nope, this is not a style that I like." And it's kind of like, you got to come back.
Yeah, you got to try a few different ones before you make your full decision.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to my beer.
Yes.
Look at this. Look at the lacing.
Wow.
It's just pure fruit.
Yeah.
Sticking to the side of the glass. It is. You said it was like a jam. It is.
It's like a jam, yeah.
It's a jam. That's something. Look at that. Let me get a picture.
So is it your jam?
It is my jam. I would say it is my jam. Yeah, for sure. I like it.
See, I feel like that's one where you want to roll it before you pour it, and I saw you like taking care of the can. But also, that's one of the ones where I feel like a brewer might be like, maybe you should actually just drink this out of the can because we don't want you to see it.
It's interesting.
I love it. I love seeing that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no, they want you to see it. They want you to see it. It's interesting you say that because it's not even. It's like maybe a month old, I guess. And I think if you waited. If you did wait like 2 months, all that fruit's going to go to the bottom of the can for sure. So I think this is another one that should be drank fairly fresh and certainly kept refrigerated too. You don't want to leave this out, leave them in the car or anything. Yeah, that's a delicate beer. Okay, enough with me.
No, that's a beautiful beer. I wanted to ask Beer Wonder a couple questions about, because I've only seen that beer a couple of times. The first time was when you got your delivery from the New York beer box at Christmas. Yes. Is that where that's from?
That's where this one's from. Yep, that one was one of the ones that was supplied for.
The other place where I've seen them is on Tap Room, which I know you ordered from recently. And those are the only places I've seen them from, which made me think, like, we talk a lot about all the various options for beer delivery. How did that one work out for you?
I really enjoyed Taproom. So,
Yeah.
in the interest of full disclosure, when we did our barley wine adventure, for those of you who joined us on that, I was having a little bit of trouble finding one, and so I worked with a group called Taproom, which does some delivery type stuff here. In New York City, and they brought it right to me. I also found out that they are within biking distance of my undisclosed location. They have a spot where you can go and pick everything up. So I may start to use them. And what they do is they sell individual beers that are a little bit harder to come by that you can kind of pick one off as a part of it. So if you're looking just for, a 6-pack of my favorite go-to drinking beer, the Tiny Juicy IPA, which we've had on the beer cast before, they're not going to have something like that, but they are going to have something like a really interesting one-off from an or short run of a certain beer from unique breweries, and they go all over the country. So I found them to be really, really great way to get some unique beers. And I believe their delivery fee, at least in Gotham, is only around $6. I don't know, Jonathan or Captain Huck, have you used Taproom before?
I keep
haven't.
meaning to. I haven't
have.
yet.
I have
Jonathan.
used them, yeah. I actually use them quite a bit.
Mhm.
So they actually, if you spend over
Full disclosure, they are not our sponsor. This
They are
is
not
just
a
us sharing tips, by the way. Who knows? Maybe they might become it after we say so many nice things about them. But this is just us sharing our personal views about it because we're all curious about these things.
So yeah, as far as I remember, if you spend over 35, you can actually get free shipping or free
Oh, great.
Well,
delivery.
that's great.
35 to 50. Don't quote me on either of those numbers, but it's somewhere in that ballpark. I usually spend at least that, so that's why I know it's in that ballpark between 35 and 50.
Okay.
But yeah, you can get free delivery, and yeah, they bring it right to your door. They also do have a lot of local breweries as well. Actually, one of my other go-tos, 18th Ward, also
Mhm.
not a sponsor of mine either, but they also, since obviously I'm drinking a saison, I like saisons. They do Farmhouse IPAs.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
which they did a Farmhouse IPA a few months ago. It was delicious. Best of both worlds, as you can imagine. Really good spice flavor with really good bitterness, citrusiness. Just a really solid blended style beer.
Now, I know that you live in the County of Kings as well, and
Yeah,
in an area that sometimes it can be hard to do delivery in. And it sounds like these folks will deliver.
they will deliver down to me as
I
well.
think all over New York City, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll do same day as well.
And the other thing I saw that I liked about them is that they're currently seeking investors, and if you're willing to invest $100, you get a permanent 5% discount.
Wow.
So, and I think there are other perks there and other few events, but yeah, so it looked like there's something I'm considering as well. And now there are some places you were saying that you're saying they don't have the 5 boroughs. You're just not using it for that because you can go there.
Well, no, Five Boroughs has done a really great job of getting production for their core beer.
Yeah.
So, for example, I can go to my local grocery store, not the one that I like to go to for some fancier beers, but just my local one that is sort of like a nicer Key Foods. For those of you who are not New Yorkers, it's just a normal grocery store.
Yes.
And they have Five Boroughs stocked there, and even my little bodega, the little kind of like with the cat at the corner,
Yeah.
also has Five Boroughs. So something that has that kind of mass distribution is often not what I'm finding, at least on tap.
Okay, because I am finding some of the ones that are like, for instance, I see Big Alice there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to order Big Alice from there because I can go to Big Alice fairly easily.
Right.
But some of the stuff like the barley wine you had was from Chicago. I know I've seen some from DC. So yeah, I have not ordered from them yet, but especially Jonathan, what you said about the delivery rate, that's great. It's like, I as much as we always say wonderful things about them, and you have your Evil Twin there today, Huck. I almost ordered some stuff from Evil Twin this week, but I kind of balked at their $18 delivery fee.
Ah, okay. I've gotten deliveries, I think, twice from them, and it's cheaper to go there and get them.
Right. It's the reason is because they don't do it themselves; they use UPS.
Right.
What I like to do is I'll type it out and see how much am I paying per beer after that, and if I can rationalize that, then I go.
I did that as well, and then of course on top and do that before you add on the tip because they want you to like help out the bartenders, which is very reasonable.
Important in this moment, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's, and I might still do it. But my first thought was like, really $18? I guess it's not that much, but still.
Yeah, I just paid an $18 fee for delivery.
Yeah, there's some really amazing looking.
Shipping.
They've got a whole series of barley wines they've been doing there.
Yeah, they have the Great Northern.
The Great Northern
Yeah.
series. Really. So yeah, I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that this week. But
Yeah, I mean they're custom made for the captain.
Yeah, that's true. And they also have a really nice, actually, to say my name, sport. They've got a great porter and it's a Baltic porter, I think, and they've got a stout. So really looking forward to getting some Evil Twin.
Brown ale in there.
Magic.
Can you find a brown ale? I feel like
I don't think I saw a brown one in their current selection, but honestly, between those two and the aged barley wines, they've got enough for me to put it in order.
Looks like they just put out I think the Imperial Pilsner as well, which is a rare beast.
Yeah, that almost seems to be contradictory.
Yeah,
because it seems like the whole idea of having a Pilsner or a lager is that it's a low ABV drinkable beer.
Right. I mean, I used to see them more. I remember that 6 Point had one. It was called Extra Crispy or Super Crisp, I think it was called.
Yes,
because that's their Pilsner is the crisp.
Yep.
And so they had the double crisp or extra crisp. And it was great. I remember really enjoying it, but that was almost 10 years ago. So in my day, we had Imperial Pilsners. Nowadays, the kids, they don't want them Imperial. They just want them sessionable. That's it. That was the whole thing.
All right. Thanks, Grandpa. That's a good story.
Welcome to our merry band, Jonathan. We're so
in fact, to fully welcome you, I think it's probably time for another in our long series of. Oh, I didn't cut it out. So I know you suggested that I do that, but yeah, I'll add the reverb later.
Cue me again.
Yeah. So I think it might be time for another
origin story.
That's right. It's time for another origin story from our beer venture to be, Jonathan. Now, Jonathan, of course, if you listened to our show last week, you know that the unique thing we're saying with our beer ventures to be is your origin story is happening right now. But of course, it began sometime before this evening. So, when would you say you first started going down the path towards drinking beer? What made you first start to like beer?
Well, so I will say, like probably most of us, my first ever beer taste was when I was a child. Where your parents are like, "Oh, I'm gonna make them have a beer so that they're not gonna like it." Well, it worked for myself because not unfortunately, but at the time I was living in another country. I was living in Mexico, and so the available beer was Sol. And I don't know if any of you have ever had Sol.
Yes.
Even as an adult, it's a beer. We're just going to leave it at that. It's a beer. It's really good on a really hot, sunny day, but that's about it. So obviously, as a kid, I was like, I don't really want to drink this. Then, I've lived in many countries, several different countries, a lot of states. And, growing up majorly in the Midwest, it was all about drinking quantity over quality. And there wasn't really that much craft beer or any delicious beer. Also, I lived in the city that was in 2011 was named the fattest city in the United States. So that kind of
which was
Evansville, Indiana.
Oh. Okay. Now the reason I ask is I grew up in Dayton, Ohio, so I'm really curious to hear what flavor of Midwest, and Evansville, Indiana isn't too distinctively different flavor than where I came from.
No, Southern Indiana, everything's fried, and as I mentioned, you drink in quantity over quality. I was a very good kid, so I didn't drink a lot I didn't really drink any beer during high school. I didn't do the whole college thing, so I actually got into the beer game really late compared to most people. But also, when I started to get my own beer, I didn't want to drink a 30-pack, obviously. I could have, but from my experiences of drinking Sol and then Snow I had in China, which is don't quote me on this, I believe it's a rice lager.
It is.
So you're familiar with...
I am familiar with Snow, and I know the lack of quality. It is a beer. It is a beer. I'm going to steal that from you, Jonathan.
Yeah. It is a beer. It is a drinkable beer, but it is a beer. But so I wanted to taste good things. And from traveling a lot of different places, being in different cultures, I love food. I love cuisine. I want to taste good things. And so I can actually remember the first craft beer I ever bought and had. This was a while ago. So, it was actually Fat Tire, New Belgium.
Okay.
So that was the first one. I was like, this isn't anything else. It's going to be the first one I get. And the only options were Fat Tire or Sam Adams as far as craft. Again, this is a while ago.
And where was this? Was this still in Indiana,
This
or
was still in Indiana? So
I mean, I'm impressed that both of the. I mean, I'm not that impressed that Sam Adams got there, but I'm impressed that it's funny. A lot of people's origin stories seem to have Fat Tire as like a eureka moment.
yeah, no, it's like, oh, this is actually not a bad beer. It's not Snow
Yeah.
or Soul, and it's not named after an element. So that's that's something that's pretty good. And then I kind of just developed into that. Obviously, still in Indiana, I didn't have a lot of options. Got some Flying Dog, Raging Bitch. That was actually my move into IPAs. So that was like, oh, now we can have these bitter beers. So we're not playing it safe. We can go with that. But I really didn't get into craft beer until I moved to Hawaii. And so I lived on the Big Island.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful place. They had 2 breweries at the time. They're up to 3 now. So they had, of course, Kona Brewing Company that everyone is aware of.
Yes.
And then they had a brew pub that not a lot of people know about is Big Island Brew Pub. It's this, I think it's a 5-barrel, 3 to 5 barrel system, very small brew pub. So they do bottle, but they only sell it to local grocery stores. And they only bottle in 22-ounce bottles. That's the only thing they serve it in, which is very unique. But with that, they do a lot of very local ingredients, a lot of lilikoi, mango, wheat. They just keep it nice and fresh. But on top of that, there is a bar there that has, at any given time, has 35 to 36 craft beer on tap. And their slogan, obviously, is no crap on tap. And so that's where I was like, oh, I can go, and kind of become my slogan in beer now is anything from the weird to the wonderful. And so, anything from cactus sours to pickle beer, cayenne IPAs, chocolate, really rich peanut butter triple milk stout, you name it, I've had it there. And so that's where I was able to, again, just play with those flavors of that I love in different cuisines. And Hawaii is a perfect place because they have every single cuisine imaginable. So there's a melting pot of food and beer, which is really cool. And then that also, while I was there, got me into tour guiding. And so I wasn't doing beer tours, which I do now, but I was doing normal tour guides. And then I moved to New York, obviously, I moved here. And then I started continuing the tour guiding and went into my love for the craft beer. Of course, there's so many more options here than 3. And so then I just transitioned into beer guiding and taking people to the breweries, and with my love for science and history. And, it just kind of steamrolled into, I'm going to have beer. I can tell people about it. And, and I've had quite a few in my day. So I know all the different styles. So, even if I haven't had a beer, I can tell you what notes to expect. If you just tell me even some of the hops, the grains, and the style, I can tell you most of the time what notes you're going to have.
Oh.
So that's just and that just comes from drinking a lot of beer and
True.
doing research of the different styles, where they originated, why they were first around, and how they've kind of developed as well. So that's like the truncated version. I can go into more detail if you want to know beers in different countries or different places.
Well, that might fit into one of my follow-up questions to that. So it's interesting when you talk about going to a place in Hawaii with 35 taps.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of when we've talked about going to the Pony Bar and they had 20 different beers but they would always, the whole premise was they called the pony All-American because it was really a celebration of the explosion of American craft beer. And so all of the things they had on tap were from American craft beer. But I'm curious about in Hawaii, if you have 35 taps, it's such a distance from the lower 48. What was the percentage you would say of other American beers or other from closer places like Australia?
So didn't get a lot of Australian beers at that bar. Now,
Okay.
you go.
What about Asian?
Yes. That every single place in Hawaii has either Sapporo or Kirin Ichiban on tap. They're gonna have it. As far as craft Asian, every once in a while you would get one in there, but they actually. So this bar specifically is also a sister bar of a bar restaurant in Alaska as well.
Okay.
And so they get a lot of West Coast. So
Okay.
but all north to south West Coast. So anything
Right.
from Portland, that's where I got introduced to Deschutes Brewing.
Okay.
Very, very solid, of course. And then all the way down to some Southern California breweries as well. And then they would move in as well. Now, the tricky thing with Hawaii is that everything has to be shipped. So we never got East Coast beer. It's just not
right. So being shipped from the west, that makes sense. That it would be from with the airport right there.
Right.
That it would mostly stuff from the west coast. I had one more question, but I think before we do that, I think Huck has something for us.
I'm ready for my second beer.
Oh my goodness!
I just got like I said, I got a shipping box from our friends at Suarez.
Oh, I saw that picture you put on Instagram.
Suarez Family Brewing, which is a really great lager house. I got some for Christmas, but I'm out. So this is called the Cabana Pills.
Ooh.
And it seems like a summer beer, but they put it out in the winter, I think, to remind you of summer. It's made with the part of the grain bill is wheat, so it's a wheat Pilsner.
Oh, nice.
I haven't had it, so let's give it a shot.
So I imagine
Very
a
good.
lighter body. It definitely pours quick. And it looks pretty thin, which is good, which was what you want for the pills. Good head. Decent carbonation on that one, yeah. And pretty clear, it looks like, yeah?
Yeah, very, very clear. It's got a slight haziness to it, little fogginess, but yeah, it's
what you'd expect from a wheat, I think, yeah.
Very good.
Nice, pleasant,
getting
grassy nose.
Okay. Is there any breadiness in there? Because for the wheat beer, that's part of the grain bill, I often expect a little bit of that on the nose.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I can taste it. It's subtle, but it's got a nice hoppiness to it.
Oh,
yeah, I like that. I apologize. I didn't do the research before I opened it.
It's okay. Sometimes you just got to drink a beer.
Exactly. Yeah.
They want Suarez. A lot of they're shrouded in mystery a little bit. They like to keep you guessing, but I think
and sometimes that's okay.
I think it's around 5. The standard percentage. It's got this little sweetness to it. Yeah, it's nice. Very nice. I approve. I'm happy.
Excellent. Now I have one more question for Jonathan, and I don't know if you guys have some questions for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, I think this is part of curiosity and part of in helping us figure out if we can come up with a Beer Avenger name for you. So you seem to be very well versed in all kinds of beers, but is there something you're generally drawn to? It can be a list of 5 different styles if you need to narrow it down. If that's the smallest you can narrow it down. Like what are your go-to beers? What or are you ruled by the seasons?
So I do roll by the seasons. If it's summer, I'm gonna be drinking a lot more lagers, a lot more saisons. Winter, a lot more nut brown stouts, porters. I do typically stay away from quads and triples. I like to drink. I like to remember my beer. But I'd still go. I still try them every once in a while. But no, saisons. Pre-COVID, I would say saisons would be my go-to. Unfortunately, they are hard to come by right now, except for Transmitter, obviously. But if there were here in New York, there's at least 6 that I can think of that before COVID were having saisons regularly on their tap, but now they don't can them because you have to can something that people are going to buy regularly.
Right.
So
Right.
it's an issue. So yeah, if you asked me this question last year, I would say saison, 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 saison. But now it's saisons seasonally. Really, over the past couple years, again, as I mentioned, lagers were kind of down on the list from my introduction into beer, but
Mhm.
Kolsch style beers
Oh.
are really have been my go-to lagers over the past few years.
Okay.
So those are pretty much seasonal. Kolsch and saisons are going to be pretty much what I'm going to have. I will also have fruited beers. I'll have Berliner Weiss, sours, gozas. I have a little bit of everything in my fridge at any given time. So
Yeah.
that's the problem. Is that I just drink everything because I want to try everything,
Yeah.
right? So I want to experience all these different flavors. There's one style that I try it every single year. Multiple times a year. Bread ales, I just can't get into.
Really
Red ale?
interesting.
Oh, red ales.
Red,
ales.
not bread ales. Bread ales are
Yeah,
great. A little bit of wheat, some yeast in there, let it rise a little bit. That's a really good beer. No,
I'm glad you weren't here when I introduced everyone to my big red cock.
Oh,
I-
boy.
Oh, that was a beer. It was a red ale
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Was it from Indiana? No, it was from Illinois. I think it was.
Wait.
it was from. No,
have I had that one? I think I've had that one.
Did you like it?
No.
not a fan of the big red cock. Okay.
Noted. But hey, well, Kolsch's I feel like are an underappreciated style. So it's fun to
Yeah.
hear you rep for them.
Well, they're,
Yeah,
they're
I
so
actually-
different. They're always different.
They are. I just had one last week, I believe, from Mammoth Lakes Brewing, which is also a very solid brewery if you haven't had them. They also don't ship very often. But they did do a Kolsch, and it has the nicest honey flavor of a Kolsch you'll ever have. Really good honey aroma and a really good honey on the front of the palate. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful Kolsch.
Now you are one. I mean, so in full disclosure, I happened to meet Jonathan as we were both guiding people through the wide world of New York beers, and love hearing him talk about beer and all the different styles that he knows and his wealth of knowledge. But one of the things that I've always enjoyed is that you've in your other part of your life, your non-beer venging life, you do wind up traveling a lot. And so you have opportunities to go to different parts of both the country and also the world sometimes and try out different beers. I remember one time you brought back a Saison, of course, from the Virgin Islands for some of us that were offering tours around. So are there any places in the country where you've had particularly, there was some brewery that you'd love to go back to, or places that were like destination spots for you across the United States that you remember, or across the world, actually?
Yeah. So I will say that Saison that I brought back to you is still to this day one of my favorite Saisons.
It was incredible. Yeah.
So it is Leatherback Brewing. It is a sorrel basil lemongrass Saison. Very, very savory of a Saison, but delicious. So that is one of my top Saisons out there. As far as other beers and other locations, again, it really depends on the season, because if I'm in Mexico, there's some really good craft breweries in Mexico now that a lot of people aren't aware of. In Baja California, I think it's Baja Brewery, they make some with agave, and so it has a little bit of that tequila kind of pinch to it, but they also make them agave IPAs, and so you're getting a lot of that slight sweetness with that punch of that hop in there. So they're doing some really fun stuff. If you want any dark lagers, go to Mexico. I'm just going to tell you right now, just go to Mexico.
Excellent.
They're dark lagers. They're doing the dark lager game. Anything that, if you don't speak Spanish, just find anything that's an obscura. So that's just dark in Spanish. Obscura. You get any type of obscura lager, and you'll be happy if you love. They're going to be very similar to like a Schwarzbier or something like that. So you're gonna have that lightness, crispness, but that richness as well.
Is that Skoura?
No,
It's like obscure.
obscure. Yeah, obscure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of an old Kids in the Hall sketch where they had a sketch about Skora the killer shark.
Oh, not
Or no, Skora the gentle shark, who would just maim people and not kill them.
Oh.
Skora the gentle shark. Anyway.
The kindest shark out there for sure.
that's
Now,
smoked shark.
Huck, you got some dark black lagers or in your Suarez pack, didn't you?
I got the one from Suarez called the River. I haven't tried it yet, but I still have a couple from Grimm Lethos, which to me, I called it the beer of the year.
You gave me one of those. It was great. Yeah.
I love that beer. I only have one left. I'll have to wait till
I think Torch and Crown has another new one out.
I almost got a Torch and Crown delivery, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I went for the Suarez. And I also I just had the one from Evil Twin earlier tonight. Their black lager. So I've definitely been getting into Schwartz beers this season in a major way, and they've been great. I think still of all the ones I've had, Grimm. I just love their lagers over there at Grimm. I can't say enough about them. I just got the Pilsner just now from Whole Foods this morning. Kronos just put them out. So, gosh, love those lagers. And looks like the Captain might be empty.
Yeah, I think I need to take a trip once again to that dank, dark place known as the what do we call it, Huck?
Are you going to the Captain's cellar? Yeah. Come high water or hell, yeah. Filled with stouts and porters, made with bricks and mortars. Going to the Captain's cellar.
Yeah.
That was almost that was the most consistent version, I think. So
I like that one.
That was nice. Yeah.
And good dance party going on too. I want to commend all of my fellow beer vengers.
This is another one from a Tavor crate. We've talked about that before, and I think we're going to be talking about it a little bit more because at least several of us seem to have one of those going right now. This is one I got last October. Now, the last time we had a live in-person Beer Vengers get-together might have been around the time of the last time it was okay to have a Super Bowl. It was a little bit before, I think.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just remember that what's his name?
We have gathered a couple times.
Right.
Socially,
no, but this was inside my apartment, but it was pre all of that. And Nutpool was here because he was maybe it was a different time. But anyway, there was a time when I just got a thing from Tavor, and we had this beer from a brewery called 903 Brewers in Texas. This is a problem when it's always the second beer, and I can't remember the name of the city in Texas. Sherman, Texas. I don't know where that is, but it's Sherman, Texas. And they'd given us some beer that was. They gave me like a combination of cookies and cream, where it was a cream ale, and then there was another beer that went with it that was like the Oreos. It was like there was the cookies was the one and cream was the other. But this one stands on its own. I did a little research on them today. And one of their signature things that they won some awards for a few years ago was called the Sasquatch Stout.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm, I've heard that too, yeah.
And it's made this one make a whole lot more sense because apparently they're extending their collection of mythical creatures. This is the Chupacabra 2.0.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
There you go.
good can art too on that one.
Now,
New Mexico.
apparently they do this regularly. It's a stout, imperial stout with cinnamon, brown sugar, and coconut. What makes it a 2.0 is that it is aged in spiced rum oak barrels.
Ooh.
So let's.
Oh, good crack on that can.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Been in the cellar since October, so yeah, here we go.
Here we go. Oh, this one is pouring much thinner than I would have anticipated.
I would agree with you. It's got kind of a light color.
It's a coming.
Mhm.
It's a coming.
Yeah, although
Yeah,
the head is barely starting. So
Oh yeah, this is I've gotten mixed things when I've looked at what it's supposed to be. Because the thing is when I looked at it online on their website, their regular chupacabra is apparently at just about 13%. This looks like it's a little lower. Because the nice thing about Tavor is you can always go back and look at your crate, and you can see, and you can look back at the descriptions. So this is it claims to be an 11.8.
Claims.
Yeah, I mean it could be higher. I'm sure it's at least an 11.8. But let's give this a try.
Yeah, and when you hold it up to the light, are you getting translucence on that, or?
I mean,
no, it's very, very dark.
It seems to block out everything at this rate.
Yeah, and it's so the first thing that the coconut pops into me, it really right away. They mentioned there's coconut and nutmeg in it.
Sure.
And I really taste the coconut. Getting those subtle tastes of rum in it, but it's very good.
Now, you got this from Tavor, and one of the things that I've always been impressed about, with Jonathan, is that you have this knack for beer Instagram.
I do.
And you're often tagging me in things, in contests, in releases, and all that stuff. And I know Huck also.
I thought I was the Graham guy.
Huck, you are very much a Graham guy, but Jonathan has got something to teach us about how to get free beer from Instagram.
Yeah. So unfortunately, COVID has made me really bored, and so on Instagram, because people can't go to breweries,
bored is better than dead.
Bored is better than dead.
I think that's something we can all live by as long as we're alive. That bored is better than dead.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
And if I was dead, I wouldn't be able to get free beer that I get,
or be bored
from entering in all these competitions. Typically, I do it through Hop Culture. Hop Culture is great. They, of course, inform people on all the new beers. But they partner with all these different companies. And Tavor was one of them. And I actually ended up winning a gift certificate to Tavor. And they were nice enough to message me. They're like, hey, we actually already put it in your account. And so even before I could log onto it, I looked in and I had $100 credit ready to go.
Wow.
And so then I've just been loading up my crate over the past month just to get a lot of really nice beer.
So this is your first Tavor crate. Tavor. No one knows how it's pronounced. But
I actually had to look it up online.
Oh, so there is a pronunciation guide online.
It is Tavor.
Okay, Tavor.
Flavor or taste and flavor. Tavor.
Oh.
Yeah, Tavor. I don't know.
Tavor. All right.
English is weird.
Yeah.
Anything exciting in your crate that you're looking forward to?
I don't have it memorized, unfortunately.
Me neither, but I actually, it's important that we take a trip to the cellar every week because I did start a crate a couple of weeks ago.
That can be dangerous. I feel like if you don't I feel like actually Huck knows this better than anyone, that occasionally, as much as one wants to continue to fill their fridge or their crate, one must empty on rare occasions, or it can get hard.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a lot of refrigeration, a lot of space. And if, like the captain, if you're collecting stouts, then you can take your time. You can fill it up, and it's the matter of those ones you got to drink fresh, like the IPAs, and even lagers too. I think should be these craft lagers should be drank fresh.
Yeah, the ones I have right now is I have a. Oh, by the way, another cool thing about this beer I just had, I think it might be the first Texas beer we've had on the show.
Hey!
So adding another state to the list. So here are the ones that I have in my crate. I've got the Trey Blood from McKellar in San Diego, which is it's it's sort of a Gaelic pronunciation for tree blood. It's a maple syrup.
This is one that you have upcoming.
That's one in my crate. I also have something called the Sumo Sumatra from the Austin Brothers in Michigan.
I almost got that one. I'll be honest. I did, but then they sold out. So
they were only $4.50 each too. That's why, anytime something's under $10, I always order two of them. Then I got the Perennial Sump Stout 2-pack. which is it's well, anything perennial. We talked about them before. We had their Abraxas on New Year's Eve, and everything they have is good. Yeah, they have their Sump Coffee Stout and their Sump variant, and Prairie, which I just tried a couple of weeks. It's called Yagata Horchata, which is it's basically it's a horchata stout. And then also Batch 4K from Revision Brewing Company, and it's a 2020 beer. So if you have 4K 2020, they have the O and the R in small letters. So on the label, it's an FUK 2020.
Ah.
Fuck 2020 beer. It's another Fuck 2020 beer. There's a lot of those out there, I think, but it was very clever in the fact that it's not, the word fuck isn't actually on there, so it can be in grocery stores, but everyone knows what they're saying.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
anything exciting in your crate that you're excited about, Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, again, I have a wide variety happening. I do have some ciders coming in. So it's a maple orange cider that's actually aged in oak barrels. So, and actually, it's an Indiana brewery. So I kind of have I kind of have to show some love with that. Then I got some classic pilsners. I do have a peanut butter. What is this? It's the Honey Honeys from Oliphant, and it is a honey and peanut butter golden ale with lactose.
Ooh,
interesting.
Again, I like the weird to the wonderful.
Anytime you say peanut butter, I'll prick my ears up. Like what? Huh?
Yeah, I don't know how it's gonna be, but the Beer Vengers will find out. When it comes in. Of course, I've got some. I don't have any saisons, but I got some Marzens, some red ales. I'm gonna try some red ales because you have to try them. I probably won't like them, but that's okay. That's okay.
Now, we've had one from Goodwater recently. We talk a lot about that red ale.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
That's
one?
the only one that I actually enjoy.
Oh, okay.
I do enjoy it, and the only reason is because they use a dark roasted red malt.
Okay.
So because it's dark roasted,
So it's a little mellower.
It's much of a richer flavor, and so the reason that I'm not a big red ale fan is because of the specific red barley that they're using. It has that. It's a balance. It's this weird balance between bitter and sweet.
Okay.
And it just sits really weird on my palate. But I know what it is, so that's why I keep trying them because I know why I don't like them. But yeah, I will say from Goodwater, their red ale, because they roast it just a little bit longer, it does have it's closer to like a nut brown, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one to not like because nobody makes them. So you're you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I didn't like a
my origin story started with Killian's Red, but I can't remember the last time I had one.
Yeah, I know. I avoid Killian's.
I really liked it when I was 19.
That was also one of the only other ones available with the Sam Adams and the flat tire.
But for me, it was really good compared to the crap in Ohio I could get that I could afford.
Yeah.
That the really it's just like because many of us go through a period where, well, with Beer Wonder it was the Rolling Rock, but that thing where the most beer you're exposed to is just what people your age can afford and find.
Yeah.
That's fair. Well, speaking of, we may be at a point where it is time to see if we could find a name for our newest Beer Venger.
I hope you guys have been working on it. I have one, but
okay.
I want to hear it.
It's up to the Beer Venger himself to name.
Very true.
Right.
But
we've been talking about saisons. We already have the Saison Kid is one of our Beer Vengers, but we also have a Belgian Babe and a Belgian Blonde. So it's not like we can't use the word.
Right.
But we want to use it in a clever way. What I came up with, you want to just hear it?
Yeah.
Because you've been all over the world. You're a globetrotter. The Globehopper, the Brooklyn Globehopper.
Okay.
That's what I got.
The Brooklyn Globehopper. Okay. I was thinking
it wasn't met
things
with
that don't.
disdain, so that's good.
Okay.
I was also thinking some of these ideas of like things like saisons of love or saisons in the sun. I know these are more like song titles than names.
Those
will be my theme song. So,
Yes,
Yeah.
naturally that you sing along to. I thought that there. I mean, I don't want it to step on Captain PBS's turf, but there is an opportunity. We don't have a representation of our Kolsch's yet, so we could have a Captain Kolsch or the Kolsch Kid, something that brings in this newfound interest. But Jonathan, is there a name you've got for yourself or something that's really calling to you?
So I don't personally have one myself.
Mhm.
I was thinking about it. Kolsch Kid did come to mind. I will say
Mhm.
that. But some of the best names in all, I don't know about the Beer Avengers, but in all
Mhm.
other, other societies of superheroes,
Yes.
are given by other people, and those are the best ones. Very few people name themselves.
That's fair.
So
That's
I
fair.
am more inclined to what you have and what name you bestow upon me, because that will be better than the one I have for myself.
Oh, but you do have one.
No.
Oh.
But I don't have one.
I'm gonna keep it close.
Okay.
I don't have one, but if I did have one,
Another thing I find with naming is you don't want to force it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to let it happen organically. So what I'm saying is we don't have to land on anything right now.
We don't. So
I'm waiting to hear what the captain and the Beer Wonder come up with. I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now I'm
did
thinking
the slow
about
burn there. You folks couldn't see that at home.
Yeah. No.
words that sound like Kolsch. What Kolsch goes with? Because I like Captain Kolsch. I like Kolsch Kid. I like Kolsch Wonder. The Kolsch. Yeah, they're just becoming more derivative, aren't they?
But I'm enjoying the Brooklyn Hop Trotter, a reflection of your past origin story. Your Globehopper, excuse me. Yes, Brooklyn Globehopper, a reflection of your past history and your need to bring the glory of good beer around the globe, even if sometimes you have to settle for a snow.
Yes. So yes, I mean I like the Globehopper. I think it works.
Or maybe maybe just the Globehopper as opposed to the Brooklyn Globehopper.
Or it could be the Island Hopper. You're referring to the
well,
Hawaiian
that's
Islands.
already trademarked.
I mean,
Oh, that is true. That's someone
because for a brief moment I was thinking the Brooklyn Globetrotter, but I also now I think that it's good to have Hopper in the name because hops is in beer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
And so I like Hopper being part of it.
That was my intention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huck is very good with names, I will say.
That's true. I've named 2 Evil Twin beers to date so far.
All right. So maybe tentatively we're just gonna say the Globehopper.
Tentatively.
We'll see how it sits.
We don't want to
see how it sits. As the origin story continues, we'll have to see.
And if you're listening at home, call in. Let us know what you think.
Oh, and
our
if
phone
you want
lines are open.
If you wanted to let us know how to get in touch with us and let us know what you think Jonathan's Beer Avenger name would be, Captain, how would a person at home do that?
Well, there are a lot of ways. The one we're most likely to see is if you email us.
Right.
You can email us at thebeeravengers@gmail.com. I'm not saying we won't see it eventually in the other places, but I have found that sometimes in the other places, notifications aren't as easy. It's like I will look them up. I will find them. I will eventually get to them. We will eventually get to them.
Yes.
But sometimes on Instagram, those DMs, as kids like the Beer Wonder and Jonathan are calling it, I mean, you can slip into it, you can slide into it, but sometimes it's so gentle you don't even feel it. So I'll look for it. Like, oh, hey, there's something in there's a little number hopping up there. But you can message us at our various places on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, where we're listed as at the Beer Avengers. You can certainly you're encouraged and welcomed. And we're not going to beg you, but we'd like it if you would, to subscribe and like and rate us at iTunes and other places where you see us. We don't need a lot. We just would like to have enough so we register. Like every time I go to iTunes, I say you don't have enough ratings to have a rating. And so if we could get enough there for that, that would be cool. I mean, I know people are listening, I know people are downloading, but we're trying to feed the hungry algorithm here.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that we've gotten any private messages on Instagram.
Well, we've gotten a few on Facebook. Some of them are bots. Some of them are
they're always nice.
So. I'm glad the robots like us, though. I'm glad that the robots have decided that we're okay, and that when the robots take over, they will still allow us to have our beers.
What I like about the robots, they always send a nice pretty picture.
I don't see a lot of pretty pictures. I just see a bunch of indecipherable link that we're supposed to click on that I never do. Also, we have a lot of people who we have from Earth Adventure and some other people, like some of the breweries. They'll like put emojis on there, and that's always really cool. I'm glad you see us. Our friends that we've talked about before at the Acquired Tastings podcast, the ones who we are definitely going to have a show in the future. Honestly, Huck, as soon as I can get that beer to you, we are going to have one where we all drink the beer that you gave us, because we're very grateful to that, and we're going to have a show all about you and the rest of our fans. And I don't think we're going to click on those bots, but we'll try to decipher all those emojis and whatever love. So again, if you want to send us those messages, we'll read them. We're happy for our fans.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, and also remember, if you're listening to this, you know where to find us. But if there's someplace you want to find us that you can't, tell us that too.
Yep.
Good point.
Because we're on Apple, we're on you can stream us on Facebook. You can see us on our other on thebeervengers.com. We're on YouTube. We're in a bunch of different places.
Spotify,
iTunes.
Yes.
Spotify. I'm still trying to iTunes. Yes. I did want it before. It seems like we're getting close to the end, but I did really want to check in with Beer Wonder.
Oh yeah.
Ask you how your home brewing experience is going.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's going well. I was happy to hang out with some of our friends over at City Brew Tours for a weekend of home brewing. So I have got about 2.5 gallons of an amber ale that is currently bubbling away in a box in a corner of my undisclosed location. So it's about probably 5 days in at this point. Every once in a while, I hear a little like bloop sound from the corner, and I double check to make sure everything's okay. But the yeast are doing their job. We're about a week and a half away from bottling, and then 10 days after that, it's going to be a real beer, and I'm excited to share it with the Beer Avengers. Hopefully, the Beer Wonder brewed beer will actually hold up.
There's another name we're going to have to come up with.
That's true. I know. So much naming. It's the hardest part of this. The hardest part of saving the world from bad beer, right, Huck?
That's right. That's the naming. Is You want to get it right. You want to make sure you get it right.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Jonathan, have you done home brewing?
No, not beer. I actually did kombucha for a while.
Oh yeah.
But not beer, because I've never had the room for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could put it in my closet, but then where's my vacuum gonna go? There's
It's got to keep it in the center of the room, and work around it.
Yeah. But yeah, I have done kombucha in the past. Very similar process. Obviously, you're dealing with live cultures, fermentation. Unfortunately, with kombucha, if you don't let it, or if you let it ferment for too long, it actually turns into vinegar. We found out, so you got to watch out for that. That was like a 12-week fermentation, though. So don't do that. Don't do that.
Good tips.
I actually have room to brew, but I haven't started yet because I'm punishing myself for not properly decluttering.
Before adding more,
I don't deserve to have homebrewed beer in here until I take care of what all these stacks of papers line.
You got to get Marie Kondo in there first, and then
yes.
Yeah, no, no.
I really don't know anything about her. I just made the pop culture reference.
No, that's a very good pop culture reference. But she's like, "Does this spark joy?" I'm like, maybe tomorrow it
might.
will. So
It
leave me
might.
alone.
I mean, honestly, I think brewing your own beer might spark a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I definitely have a lot of stuff that fits into doesn't spark joy. That my decluttering is mostly, okay, what can I shred and what can I just throw away?
Yeah.
But it's all in various stacks of papers all over my apartment.
Oh, this is a whole other episode to talk about.
Yeah,
Yes, it
decluttering
is.
our
This is the post show. All right. Well,
Oh, man, I got stuff.
I did want to mention before we wrap all of this up. Once again, support your local businesses. Restaurant Week still going in New York City for the entire month of February. Some places will even sell you a beer with that. So that fits into both of both of those crusades.
Yep.
Look for Curtain Up beer everywhere you go. I'm seeing more and more of those every day.
Yeah, there's I'm seeing more
to support your out of work performing artists, because unlike athletes, we're still out of work.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't want to have super.
They're going to be the last to go back to work too.
Yes, yeah. I didn't watch the super spreader.
They're making some film. They're making films and TV though. They are making films and TV out there.
Yeah, I'm not involved in that. I don't even honestly.
That's a whole other episode. Oh, that's Curtain Up episode.
It is. It's. I mean, it's something I think that's worth talking about. But I don't even know where to begin with all of that. But I don't think sports should exist right now. That's how I feel.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, Jonathan, it's been so great having you. You've been a fabulous guest as always. Good to have a beer with you when we're not having to work together, and we're excited to have you here as tentatively the Globehopper.
I guess so.
All right.
Yes.
We'll hang on to that for now.
We'll hang on to it for now.
The hopper, the hopster, the hoppy guy.
All right. Thanks so much. Did no one else say it? I'm surprised it hasn't come up because we're so happy to have him here. Jonathan, Globehopper, whatever we're going to call you, come back anytime.
Anytime.
Of course.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone who's listening. And Huck.
Tune in next week. We're going to have another great show with another great beer venger to be.
Yeah. Or a current beer venger we haven't decided yet. Or have we decided? No, we can have him. No, I know you. We'll talk about that. Yeah. Once I press the. Anyway, Huck, why don't you play us out? Right. Thanks, everybody.
Well, we're the beer vengers, beer vengers, beer vengers.
We're the beer vengers.